Okay, so I've started the recording. Right, so I got started into automation, made a lot of mistakes. You can't even think how many silly mistakes I've done. So some of you are like me actually. I know you also looking to start your automation journey, but sometimes you may have no clue, right? You are looking to basically upskill yourself. Some of you are looking to work into projects, right? Some of you are trying to switch. Some of you are looking to clear job interviews. Whatever may be your reason, I can understand. Why? Because I've been into your shoes actually. Okay, so what my approach is very you can say I like to make things very simple, very much interactive. People can ask me questions during the course, after the course, inside the WhatsApp group. You can ping me in private. Some of you were calling me, right? So I always encourage people, right? And I always try to tell that don't look at me like a senior who's so far from you. Treat me like an elder who's there to guide you and support you, because that is what my intention is. I think I'm a good trainer. Why? Because teaching is my passion and I genuinely want to help people. That is something I can do for the long run. And I always like to tell people that if you really want to make good money in IT, don't just think about doing minimums. Always think about how can I go the extra mile. Because unfortunately, like I've keep on telling this to my students, a lot of us are kind of thinking into that minimum mindset mentality, right? But if you really want to be a good QA, effective QA, want to make good money, then you want to basically go the extra mile. That is what I'm also trying to do. The money that you're paying for this course, I'm trying to give maybe 10 times more, the worth that you're actually paying for. Right. So if you keep this mindset, nobody can stop you. And your goal should be, if at all you have not touched it, your goal should at least be 40 LPA as a SDET. Is it possible? The answer is yes, because I've touched it and I know it is possible. So coming from a senior architect background, I think I know what I'm talking about. So I'm pretty sure I will be able to help you guys. So all I expect from you is just a little bit of dedication, just a little bit of hard work. So whenever you are sitting in the class, please sit with your copy and pens, make a lot of notes. I'll be sharing some notes with you, but you want to do a lot of practice because majority of you are not from automation background. And one thing that is something I really want to tell you is repetition is the key, guys. What Whether you want to learn something new, whether it is a new language, whether it is something new or anything in life you want to learn, whether it is even driving a car, you want to repeat something because the more you repeat, the more comfortable you actually get. Okay, so repetition is the mother of all learning. So always try to make a lot of notes, keep on revising again and again. And trust me, guys, by the end of this course, you will have a very rock solid foundation. Is it going to be easy? I don't know. But is it going to be worth it? You bet it is. Okay. And one mindset that I want to install in all of your heads is JavaScript and Playwright is easy, because I like to tell myself again and again, Piyush, you are good, you are better, and you can grow even better. Right? Not for others. I basically do it for myself. Same thing I want you to tell, right? So you also just want to tell yourself again and again that you are good and JavaScript is easy. Just a sec, guys. Okay, so I've unmuted somebody. Okay, so before we get started, one thing I would like to tell you guys. So please keep yourself muted. If you have any questions, any doubts, the best way for us would be, rather than abrupting unmuting yourself, best way would be you can raise your hands, because Zoom is a good feature. I can find out whosoever has raised your hands, or if not possible, you can post your query in the chat. Right. Or maybe if I'll ask you something, of course, you can unmute yourself and then you can ask. So I will actually, I encourage everybody, right, to ask me questions. Okay. So no question is silly. So please don't feel somebody is judging or not. No, nobody is judging you here. Okay. So let us get started, guys. So last time, okay, I'll share my screen as well. So just give me one sec, sharing my screen. Where is it? Okay. So
Hi Piyush.
hello.
Hi, Ma here. So
Hello. Hi,
Piyush, I have a question over here. The JavaScript that you're going to teach us, there are
correct.
some flavors or versions for JavaScript, right? So
Okay.
Chai, Mocha. So which one are we focusing on? Playwright.
Okay.
What does Playwright? How
Okay. So
much?
looks like, yeah. So Hammer, looks like you're getting confused actually here, because JavaScript is one. Like you said, JavaScript has versions, but we are primarily focusing on this version, which is called as ES 2015 or ES6, which is one of the most, you can say, commonly used versions of Java, because it has some major upgradations. So I'll be talking a lot about ES6 and all. But when it comes to Mocha and Chai, those are basically frameworks. They are not basically JavaScript versions. So looks like you have the small confusion actually here.
Okay, so you are teaching us ES 2015 basically.
ES 2015 and onwards. So everything what I'll be teaching you, so basically everything we are going to cover, that is every, you can say, latest JavaScript, what we are talking about. All the latest features of JavaScript, like object destructuring, array destructuring, and all those things. And in case if you want to understand what we are going to cover in the course, what I would suggest is like in the WhatsApp group. So this course is pinned to the channel. And if you still don't get it, please reach out to me, maybe on group or maybe privately. I'll be happy to share the course content with you. Okay. So
Yeah, yeah, I have seen that.
okay,
And when you say that JavaScript framework, do developers use that?
it depends
Mocha
actually.
chai.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. People use it a lot. Absolutely.
Okay, does automation testers also use that mocha chai, or they don't need to use that kind of things?
Like, yeah, it depends actually. So let's say I was actually teaching a lot of Cypress courses also. So in Cypress courses, people use this particular framework. Just give me one sec, guys. Guys, I would request everyone to please mute yourself. Okay, I'm other than Hama, I'm muting everyone else. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any further questions or we are good to go? Let's get started,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
some of you were saying that I was slightly little fast, so I'll try to keep my speed a little slower. Guys, pardon me for this. Actually, I'm a naturally fast talker. So I have to curb my natural instincts to speak a little slow. Okay, I'll try to remind myself again and again, I don't have to speak fast and I have to be little slow. Okay. So last time, right? So we're going to do a small recap, right? And then we're going to start with JavaScript as well. Okay. So the first thing what I'll teach you is, right. So last time we actually talked about creating our first Playwright test. If you don't know how we do it, don't worry. We're going to start from scratch when we actually start with Playwright. But some of you are facing some issues. I just want to clear those issues. So the very first thing is some of you are facing an issues that this test is not recognized. You are facing some issues in test. All we have to do is in every Playwright test, we should have this line. Don't worry if you're not able to understand it, right? So we just need to have this line imported. And secondly, whenever you're calling any method in JavaScript, doesn't matter whether this method is in Playwright or whether it is a JavaScript method, you want to make sure that you are using these parentheses. Okay. Without the parentheses, yeah, it is not going to throw an error, but this method will not be run successfully. Whenever you are calling any method in JavaScript or Playwright, like fill, you have to start the parenthesis and end it. Same for click. You start with parenthesis and end with it. Very, very important thing. And some of you are facing some issues. For example, let me just remove this. So now if I make any change, see, I'm making some small changes. I'm pretty sure that you are able to see this white dot over here. Now, some of you may not be able to understand what this white dot means. It simply means now I've made some changes into my code, which is not saved yet. So for you try to run your script without saving your changes, you will not get the desired output. So what you need to do, guys, is only after, suppose if you are making any change, what you have to do is simply go to File and Save, or even better option, I would recommend and suggest all of you. It is a very good practice. Go to File and simply click on the auto save, because sometimes you'll forget to save it, right? So best option is use File and auto save. See, the white dot should be gone afterwards. Okay. Now, as I'm making changes, I don't, this yellow white dot is not going to be shown. That is the best thing. Like one of you reached out to me in saying that your script was not running. It is because you forgot to auto save it. Okay. So this is about Playwright and it is very, very simple to run. All you have to do is just click on this play button over here and your Playwright script should run. Okay, and you will get this green button only if you're able to install this particular extension. So one extension that you want to do is, we are doing a small recap for the last week, guys. Okay, so you want to install the first extension, which is called as Code Runner by Jonhan. Okay, very important extension. Okay, so after installing this extension, you get this particular button, which is this play button over here. It is very, very helpful and I'll be using it a lot. Okay, and the second extension, what you want to do is simply type over here Playwright. Okay, so this Playwright test for VS Code is an extension exclusively by Microsoft. You want to install it. In my case, I have already installed it. So that is why I'm getting this option uninstall over here. Okay, and in case some of you who have not installed VS Code or Node.js, I have prepared a document that I've shared with a lot of you. And if somebody is needs help or assistance in installing VS Code and Node.js in these things, just reach out to me and I'll be forwarding the document to you. It is very, very simple, step-by-step instruction. Everything is written over there, and you guys will be very good with it. Okay, so this is the first thing that you want to do. Install these basic two extensions. First one, Playwright test. Second one is Code Runner by Junhan. Okay, so with this, your VS Code settings are done. Okay, and then just okay, so looks like some people are still there. Guys, please keep yourself muted. Okay. So, okay. So now what we have to do is we actually did a couple of things in the previous class. Okay, so we started with what? We started with the basic data types. Like some of you are from Selenium and Java background, while some of you are not. In case if you're from Selenium and Java background, yes, you might find some things little different, but some of you are completely from scratch, you're starting from scratch, it doesn't matter, right? So it is very simple. So last time I was telling you that these are the ways by which we organize our data. Okay. When I say organize my data, it means I have data like a number. I may have a string like this, right? I may have a Boolean value like true or false. How do I store it? I store this data in the data types. Okay. For example, if this is a number, right? So if this 10 is a number, I will store it in this number data type. If this is a string, I will store it in a string data type. If this is a Boolean value, I'm going to store it in the Boolean type. And then we have something called as null and undefined, and we'll talk about it. Okay. I even talked about the modulus operator. Basically, it does what? It simply gives me the remainder. If I try to divide 5 by 2, it is not a clean division. It gives me the remainder as 1. And then I talked about the exponentiation operator. Here I'm being a little fast because these are the things that I've already covered in the previous class. This is just a quick recap. Okay, so people who are watching, joining in for the first time, I would recommend please go through the first two videos because here we are even talking about some more things in depth, right? So this is called exponentiation operator. How do I read it? Very simple. It simply means 5 to the power 2. How do we write this in English? Usually we write like this, 5 to the power 2. This is how we write in English. But JavaScript does not understand English language, guys, right? So in order to tell JavaScript to do the same thing, this is JavaScript's way. And this is called as exponentiation operator. It simply means 5 raised to the power 2. I can even do it like this. So this is a math utility object which is inbuilt in JavaScript, which is a very handy object, which gives me some very useful functions like max, min, power, round, so many useful functions, right? Which I can use. I don't have to write them from scratch. I can simply use it. Okay, so this is what I can do. Math.power, same thing, 5 to the power 2. I can either write like this or I can either write like this. They are doing the same thing. Okay, and then we talked about how to create the variables. So basically we use these two keywords to create variables in JavaScript. First is using the let statement. Then we have something called as const, and these are called as keywords, guys. Now, what are keywords? Keywords are the reserved words that are reserved in JavaScript. It means I should not use these keywords while I'm naming my variables. So it means when I'm saying, if I'm creating a variable called let const, no, it is not allowed. This is a variable name. It cannot be a keyword. So I cannot do it like this. See, JavaScript is throwing an error. Hey, what are you trying to do? This is not allowed. You can give basically a meaningful name, and it should not be a reserved keyword. So let is a keyword. I cannot use it as a variable name, right? Similarly, const is a keyword. I cannot use it. So this is invalid in JavaScript. Okay. So guys, I'm teaching from scratch basically. I'm assuming you know nothing about JavaScript. Okay. Same way I'll be teaching you about Playwright as well. Okay. Right. So I've told you we can use either let to create a variable and either we can use const to create a variable. Now, suppose if I want to store, let's say I'm an animal lover. I want to store the number of hens. How do I write? Let followed by the variable name and I'm giving a value. So whatever is on the right hand side of the equation, I hope you remember your maths class, we have LHS, RHS, left hand side, right hand side. So this part is left hand side, this part is right hand side. So what are we doing? Whatever is there on the right hand side, I'm adding it something. I'm basically adding it to this variable which is on the left hand side. So in the memory point of view, right, I'll tell you. So from memory point of view, what is happening over here? Right. So let me show you something. The browser. Just give me one sec, guys. So where is it? I'm creating the whiteboard. Okay, so now it should be visible. Share. So looks like my whiteboard should be visible to you guys. So what is happening over here, right? So if I'm creating a variable, so basically if this is my memory, inside the memory, suppose if this is my entire memory like this, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm actually creating a variable called num of hens. Okay. So, and then I'm putting this value, which is say 5 or 10 inside this box. This is what is happening in the memory. So JavaScript is actually allocating some memory, okay, inside your RAM, which is your random access memory. Okay, and this is what is exactly happening behind the scenes. You should know these things, guys. Not just from interview point of view, but from the conceptual point of view, you should know what is happening. So basically, this num of the hens is basically a memory location that is pointing to this particular variable, which has this value called 5. And that is exactly what is happening over here. Very simple concept. Okay, so now you might wonder, should I use let or should I use const? You should use let if you think that the variable name can change in the future. But if you are not sure, right, whether the variable might change, you should use let. But if you're absolutely sure that the variable is not supposed to change, you should use something called as const. Very, very important. Okay. For example, birth year. Suppose your birth year, my birth year, is it supposed to change? No, it is constant, always constant. I should use const over here. Some examples that I covered last time, pi, which is a global value. If you remember in your maths class, 2 pi r square, this pi is a constant, not supposed to change. I should use const. Number of days in a week, another const. These are the variable name rules that we talked about previously. Variable names cannot start with a number. Variable names can only contain letters, numbers, underscore. We cannot use reserved keywords in JavaScript. We should always give a meaningful or descriptive name to a variable. What does it mean? Can I create a variable like this? Let x equal to 5 or 6. Yeah, I can create a variable name like this. JavaScript is not going to complain, but the issue is, what is this X basically? I don't understand. So better is use a meaningful name like num. So Abhijit has raised his hand. Yes, Abhijit, please unmute and let me know.
Yeah, thank you. Just want to know one thing, like in Java, we have this stack memory and heap memory. So do we have anything like that in JavaScript also? Or
E- Exactly. So this, okay, I've not talked about this, but basically this variable, what I'm creating over here is something called a stack memory actually. All the variables are being created inside the stack. And when later in the future, when I'll be talking about arrays and objects, that time I'll be talking about something called as heap memory, which is a special memory actually, which contains the actual arrays and objects. But yeah, to keep it simple, I was not talking about the stack, but yes, this is stack and this is heap. So to answer your question, I hope that is clear, Abhijit.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay, so these are the variable naming rules, guys. So please make a note of this. Very, very important thing. If you are a new person, just writing them once is not enough. You want to read it again and again, maybe after every 2 or 3 days. Okay, so these are the booleans that I told you previously in the last class. So they contain only two values, true or false. Either it can be true or false. There is no third answer. For example, is day after tomorrow, is Monday or not? You can either answer true, you can either answer false. There is no maybe, right? So we can store them in the Boolean data type. And this is slightly weird thing in JavaScript, right? Like some of you, like Abhijit just raised his hand. He is from Java background. He knows this thing that variables cannot change the data type in Java. It is not allowed. Why? Because in Java, we do like this, int a equal to 5. Now, this variable can only contain integer values because I'm explicitly passing int. But in JavaScript, there is no int here. We only use let or const, right? So in this case, unfortunately, we can change the data type of a JavaScript variable. Like I'm creating a variable called num of donuts. So imagine how this is created in the memory. In the memory, I'll be creating another box called num of donuts, and I'll be adding this value 12 over here. So another variable, another value. Okay, so if I'll create like this, one more variable which is containing 12, and this is called num of donuts, right? So, and then later on, I'm changing the value to 20. Yes, it is possible, which is another number, not an issue. This is even allowed in Java. But now when I'm adding a value false here, this is not allowed in Java, but perfectly valid in JavaScript. So it means, what am I saying? From the memory, I'm changing this value from 12 to 20 initially. And from 20, I'm again changing it to a new value, which is false here. So is it allowed in JavaScript? Unfortunately, it is yes. So JavaScript is slightly weird in some of the ways. It is quite loose actually. It is not as strict as Java actually. Okay, so, and this is called as dynamic typing in JavaScript, which means variables can change their types. What is the type of this variable? It is number. I've told you, right? What are data types we have? Number, string, Boolean, null, and undefined. Okay, so if I come over here, where was I? Okay, here. Right. So dynamic typing is something that it is allowed in JavaScript, but does not mean that we should use it. So ideally, we should never use it. And in the TypeScript part that we'll be covering later on, I'll be telling you how we can actually assign the data types to a number, right? And that is something which is very, very, you can say, important use case of TypeScript. While a lot of people are now switching from JavaScript to TypeScript because of a strict type checking. It is similar to Java. Okay. So here it is not allowed. Okay, so these are some example of strings like we talked last time.
Sorry. Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you are not sharing your Visual Studio?
I'm sharing my Visual Studio. Are you not able to see?
No,
Okay.
this is whiteboard is shared right now.
Oh, okay. Let me share again.
Yeah, we are seeing the whiteboard only.
Oh, okay, okay. Guys, please let me know. Yeah, thank you so much. You guys told me. Okay, right. So, yeah, I was saying about strings actually. In the case of strings, this is how we create a string. Like if in Java, like some of you are from Java background, so I'll keep on switching between Java and JavaScript. But some of you who have no Java background, you can ignore the Java part. Just focus on the JavaScript. But for Java people, it will help to understand the comparison. So in Java, this is how we create a string. We use only double quotes. Single quote is not allowed. Okay, and this backtext is again not allowed. While in JavaScript, we use these are the three ways of creating a string. And I would hope you are making notes for this. Please do make a note for this. Single quote is allowed, double quote is allowed, backticks are allowed. And this slanting quote is called as backtick key, and it is just below the escape key. Okay. Now, to find out the data type of any variable, we can use the type of which is an operator. Yeah, it doesn't look like an operator, but it is an operator. So how do I use it? Just use the type of followed by a space, followed by the value that you want to write. So this double quote of 87, it looks like a number, but it is not a number. Why? It is wrapped inside double quote. So it is actually a string, while this 87 is a number because it is not wrapped inside the double quotes or single quotes or even backticks. So the output of this code will be a string. The output of this code will be number. Now let me show you something interesting. So if I want to run this entire file, this entire JavaScript file, one option is I can simply click on this play button and it is going to execute the entire file. But what if I want to execute only this particular line? That is even possible actually because of this extension that I've shared. So Shraddha, just give me a second. I'll unmute you. So what I need to do is I'll simply click on this run code button over here and I get this output as string. Okay, so now JavaScript has ignored everything else and simply ran this particular line. And if I select this particular thing and click on the play button, now JavaScript is going to execute only this particular line, which is 96. Yeah, Shraddha. Now please unmute and tell me what's the question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know the where keyword. Where, why don't we use where here
So
in
because, okay,
JavaScript?
yeah, so Shraddha, to answer this question, so where keyword is basically a legacy JavaScript. In simple words, where is there in JavaScript since JavaScript was born way back in 1995 and on. Okay, but these are the two keywords which is let and const.
Yeah, but
Okay,
when I was using where, then I was not getting any error.
exactly. You will get the same output with var, but there are some issues with the var keyword, which I'll be teaching you in the advanced JavaScript. At this moment, if I'll start teaching you or some people, some of you might get confused. So this var keyword has some issues. For example, okay, I'll just tell you one or two issues. There's no block scope of var. It means if I create this var keyword variable inside an if block, I can access it even outside the if block. Very weird. This should not be done. Second way. We can redeclare the variables using the var keyword. Ideally, this should not be done. With let and const, it is not allowed. JavaScript throws an error. So what all issues we have with the var keyword, JavaScript have basically removed those issues with the let and const, which are introduced in ES6 and ES 2015. So this ES6 or ES 2015 is one of the most major upgradation that happened in JavaScript. Okay, in the year of 2015, a lot of new features were introduced, like classes and objects, destructuring syntax, nullish coalescing operator. So many things were introduced. Okay, so this var keyword is kind of, it is not deprecated, but it is strongly suggested not to use it because of the reasons that I'll be explaining you in the later classes. For now, you should just understand that yes, var is supported in JavaScript still, but we should not use it. Okay. I hope it makes sense, Shraddha.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So, and can I use double quote inside double quotes? Yes, I can, but I have to use this escape character. Same for single quote, right? But double quote inside single quote and single quote inside double quote, it is allowed. Okay. And then I talked about this concatenation. Okay. So if I try to do this, like some of you have never done coding before, you might think the answer is 9, but the answer is not 9 because if you notice carefully, guys, it is wrapped inside the double quotes over here. This is also wrapped inside the double quotes. So what it means, is it a number or is it a string? It is a string. So if I try to use the plus operator with two strings, right? So addition won't happen. Basically, something called as concatenation is going to happen. Concatenation means JavaScript is simply going to add these two strings. In the case of strings, the output would be 54, not 9. So if I want to run only this line, I'll select it and then I'll simply click on the play button. How did I get this play button? Because of the extension that I've shown you. Which extension? This code runner extension by Junhan. So you want to install this extension by CodeRun, by Junhan. That is why you are able to see this. If you're not getting this option, it means you don't have this CodeRun extension. Okay, so now let me just select it, click on the play button, and I see this output, 54. So the output is 54, not 9. So if I want to basically get the output as 9, I want to remove these double quotes. So now JavaScript sees, okay, it is a number. It is not a string. This is also a number. So this plus operator behaves differently depending upon the operands. This 5 in double quotes and this 5 is an operand. So one operand is on the left hand side, another operand is on the right hand side. So it means these are two operands, 1 and 2. That is why it is called as binary addition operator, which is acting upon 1 and 2, two operands. Okay. And then this is addition. Okay. But this is slightly tricky. In this case, what happens? One is a number, one is a string. In that case, what will JavaScript do? JavaScript will simply see this is a string, this is a number. I cannot add them, I cannot concatenate them. So internally, JavaScript will do, it is going to convert this number to a string and it tries to add them. So I'll still get the output as 54. And this is called as automatic type conversion or type conversion. We'll talk about this later on, but for now, just understand this. Oh, sorry, I want to run this line. So if I, yeah, so JavaScript, because of this extension, it doesn't clear the console automatically. I have to clear the console like this by clicking on the clear output button and then click on the play button. And I see this output as 54. Okay. So, and yeah, so if I do this, first name, last name. So these are the two variables that I have created. Okay. And now if I try to add them, what will happen? These are strings. JavaScript sees, okay, this is one string. This is my second string. And if I'm using the plus operator, what should happen? Can JavaScript really add them? No, not possible. Two strings can never be added. I can join them. I can concatenate them. And the output should be Piyush Gupta without a space. So if I run this code, I will not get any output. Why? I'm not using any console.log or something. Like in Java, we have system.out.println to print something to the output. Okay. But in this case, I get what? I'll have to use console.log to get the output. So what do? I'll select all of these lines because if I don't select this line, I will not get the output of console.log. So let me clear the console, click on the play button, and I get this output as Piyush Gupta. Okay. Yes. So PK and one more person have raised their hands. So PK and Shraddha. Okay. Yeah, PK, I saw you first. Please go ahead. Unmute yourself. PK, are you able to hear me? Not sure. Okay. I'm not able to hear you, PK. Not sure what happened. Shraddha, can you unmute?
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask online 112. You told that it will be 4 will be converted to a string and it will be concatenated.
Hmm.
My question is why 4 will not be this 5 will not be converted to number here.
Okay, so this 5 will be converted to a number only in the case if I use this minus. See, basically, I can just tell you one thing. There are some rules that we have to follow. Like there's a rule of gravity, right? We don't question it, we simply follow it, right? So if I'm actually standing from the first floor and if I try to jump, I will fall down. Why? Rule of gravity. Same thing. This is a rule that is there in JavaScript that if I have two two operands here, one is a number and another is a string. JavaScript is going to promote the number to a string, not the string to a number. But if JavaScript sees like this, if it is a minus sign, okay, then what is going to happen? So can these numbers be concatenated? No, because it is not plus actually, it is minus. So now JavaScript will, to answer your question, Shraddha, JavaScript will now convert this 5 to a numeric 5. So basically a string to a number, which is again automatic type conversion. And you see this output, which is 1. So only for the plus operator, JavaScript is going to convert this 4 to a string. In all the other cases, whether it is minus, multiply, or divide, in all these cases, the string is going to be converted to a number. Why so? Because this is a rule in JavaScript. I hope that makes sense.
No, so my question is, you mean to say string will have higher precedence to number here?
It is nothing like precedence. It is basically a simple rule.
No, if I will write 4 plus quotes 5, then
Same output. Okay. If you're thinking from that point of view, like 4 plus 5, again the output is same. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So it doesn't matter whether I'm writing 4 before 5 or after 5. Doesn't matter. I'll still get the output as 54. Sorry, 45 this time. Why? 4 is on the left hand side. So in all the cases, if I'm trying to add a number with a string, what happens? This number gets promoted to a string and then we try to concatenate. Okay. So that is the case.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think operator overloading is also the concept here for plus.
Abhijit, I didn't get that. Come again, please.
Like if we are using plus symbol, it is always the operator overloading, and we can convert into strings. So we cannot convert
Yes.
into in
And
there.
it is happening this way.
Yeah,
Correct.
it is a rule actually.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much. Okay. So yeah, and this is something which is interesting. Nobody talks about this, guys, but this is something you should know. Okay. So if this is what I'm trying to do, how many variables I'm creating in the memory? One variable in the memory, which is having this value, which is a string. What am I doing here? I'm creating another variable in the memory, which is another string. And if I try to add these two variables, what is happening? Yes, I can say I've created one more variable, which is going to add this name, which is Piyush Gupta. But internally in the memory, 3 strings will be created. Why? Strings are immutable. Same concept what we have in Java. In Java, we have something called a string constant pool or string intern pool. Like in JavaScript, it is not there as such, but yes, the concept is the same. Strings are immutable. I cannot modify a string. And if I'm trying to basically perform any action on a string, what happens? A new string gets created in the memory. So from the memory point of view, so if this is my memory, I have one box called first name. I have another box called last name. And if I'm trying to basically do first name plus last name, another box gets created in the memory because strings are immutable. This string cannot be modified. This string cannot be modified. But this number, yeah, numbers can be modified because numbers are mutable, but strings are immutable. I'll keep on repeating this because this is a very important concept. That is the meaning of strings are immutable. Okay, so this is the topic. Okay, so guys, what I'm planning is a lot of feedback has came actually because 2 hours can be a pretty lengthy class. So I'm actually considering giving you maybe around 5 to 7 minutes of break after every 45 minutes, if that works for you. Is that okay with you guys? You want to take a 5 minute break? Because I know a lot of,
Yes,
yeah.
that makes sense. Sure.
Okay, so what we'll do is like it is 8:13. Right. So yeah, we can take a quick break. So it is 8:13. Let us meet in at 8:19. So I'll be here actually, and I'll be happy to interact with some people. Right. So if you have any questions, you have any doubts, I'm pausing the recording, not stopping it. So resuming the recording. Okay. So I hope it is clear now. So guys, this is something, what you can do is, if you want, I can even share this file also with you, this 1.js. So what I'll do is, I have already prepared a Google Drive link, which has a initial document of installing the Node.js, installing the VS Code. I'll even add this. So basically, I'll add these notes so that it'll be easy and easy for you, so that you guys can practice. Because you guys are asking me a very thoughtful question. This is, yeah, very, very important to understand. These are foundational concepts, right? Which you should know. Okay.
Piyush, just one question.
Yeah.
So I've created few programs and I've done some coding as well, but by mistake I've deleted them. I don't know. Can we get them back? There's any way?
It
Because
depends actually.
in
If you have
the
cleared the recycle bin, you cannot. But if they are there in the recycle bin, yes, you can retrieve them.
okay, recycle bin as in VS Code or
Yeah, I mean, recycle bin is outside the VS Code. Okay, okay. Let me
okay,
share my
yeah,
screen.
yeah,
So, okay. So what I'll do is, see, can you see this recycle bin over here? If it is empty,
yeah,
right, I cannot do
yeah.
it. I cannot do it. So you have to be careful. In the case of Mac, there's some dangerous commands like rm minus rf.
Okay,
So if you do this particular command, it simply deletes it. There's no way of recovering it back. So you have to be
okay,
careful.
yeah. I'll check that.
Yeah. Okay. So let us move on to another topic, which is called as string indexing. Okay. So yeah, it is something which is very interesting concept, guys. So what is the meaning of string indexing? I'll tell you. So the concept is strings are indexed. What do I mean by this? It means every string, every character in a string has an index. Let me tell you, what do I mean? So if I write like this, Piyush. So this is a string, right? So how do I know it is a string? I am wrapping it inside either single quote or double quote or backticks. Now, when I say strings are indexed, what do I mean? This character P has an index of 0. This character I has an index of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you notice something, that the length of this string is what? Length is 6, right? But the highest index will be, because notice that this character P has index of 0, not 1. Because in the programming languages like Java and JavaScript, right, the first character does not have index of 1, it is 0. So if you have never done coding before, this might look odd to you, but this is a very common pattern in all these major programming languages. So if the length is 6, the highest index would be, anyone can tell me? It is
5.
6.
5.
Correct. 6 minus 1, which is 5. Absolutely, guys. Because h is not 6, because it is starting from 0. So h index would be 6 minus 1, which is 5. Okay. And very, very important thing is, every string has a length property. What do I mean by this? If I want to find out the length of this, yes, visually I can see, I can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I have eyes, I can see it. But JavaScript does not have eyes, right? It is a programming language. So from the programming language, how can I find out the length of the string? For that, there's a property in JavaScript which is called as length property. When I say property, it means it is not a method or a function. Only for functions, I have to use parentheses, but it is a property. So I have to use what? Just the length without the parentheses. So if I write like this, say double quotes of Piyush, and if I simply use the dot, I've shown you in the previous class also, what does this box means? This box is called as IntelliSense, or in simple words, it is called as suggestion box. That is why as a programmer or as a developer, I want to use VS Code because it gives me such nice suggestions. It gives me these color codings, some nice things. I can write everything in Notepad also, but I will lose all the advantages of these powerful editors. That is why we actually want to use these powerful tools like VS Code and all. Okay, so if I do this, if I simply use the dot, notice that all of these purple colors are the methods. You see, all these purple colors are methods. But do you see something? There's something called in normal blue color. The color itself is different. So if I just bring the mouse, I'm using the up and down arrow keys. Notice that it is called as a property. So with properties, I don't use the parenthesis. This is not allowed. I have to use like this. So if I want to find out the length of a string, how do I write? Simply write console.log. Why I'm using console.log? Because I want to see in the console output over here. Okay. So if I just select this piece of code, clear the console, click on the play button over here, I see the output as 6. See, it is very simple. So the length is normal. It starts from 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the length. And yeah, length is a property. I cannot use it like this. Very, very important thing. Okay. So next thing, very important thing is spaces also matter, guys. So if I have a string like this, say, how do I create a string? Let me say let str equal to, and this equal to is called as assignment operator. So how do I create a string? Using either single quote or double quote. Okay, let me use single quote this time. So let me create a string called hello world. So what is the length of the string? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is the length 10?
No,
No.
11.
Correct. Absolutely. So Sabita is right. Why? Because this space is also counted. So this is important, which I wanted to teach. So spaces are included in length. Okay. Right. So this is what we can do. Okay. One thing. Can I do this str of 0 if I do equal to double h? And now if I print console.log str, anyone, this is an opportunity for you guys to tell me what is the output. You can unmute and tell me, what do you think is the output now? I'm trying to change the 0th index from small h to capital H. Yeah, let me use some space so that it is more readable. What is the output now? Is it same hello world or is it capital H hello world? What do you guys think?
It's a small
Same,
h.
same
Not
hello
an
world.
array, right?
Same
Okay.
hello world.
Yeah, actually, see, so yeah, we can use these indexes with array, but even for strings, we can still use it. To access a particular index, I can use even for strings also to find out.
Okay.
Correct.
It will be small h being
7.
immutable.
Capital H.
Exactly. So I think Abhijit was just mentioned a very important point. So strings are immutable. So basically this line is simply going to be ignored, guys. Yeah,
Okay.
JavaScript is not going to throw an error, but this line is going to be ignored because I mentioned you one thing, strings are immutable. They cannot be changed. So if I see, the output is still the same, which is hello world. Why? Strings are immutable. Okay. Very, very important thing. Okay. Next, these are some string methods that I'm going to teach you now. Why I'm teaching you these methods? Because maybe let's say you want to appear for some interviews, maybe you want to work in your JavaScript projects. If you don't know these basic string methods, how will you actually write the code? So these are some very, very extremely important methods that I'm going to teach you now. So please, you make notes and also practice this even after the class gets over. Okay. So now, what are the string methods I'm talking about? So what are the string methods basically? So strings come with some basic set of inbuilt methods. When I say inbuilt methods, it means they are coming directly with JavaScript. I have not created those functions. When I say methods, you can even call them as functions. So methods and functions are kind of called interchangeably. Okay. So when I say string methods, it means these methods are created by the JavaScript developers. You and I are not creating these methods. What are we doing? We are simply using these methods. Okay. Why are we doing this? Because it makes our life a lot easier. Because if we don't use them, we'll have to create our own methods, which means we are adding more complexity. But if we are using inbuilt methods, it is going to make our life easier. How do we use these methods? Very simple. Simply write the string followed by a dot followed by some method name. This is the simple syntax. Okay. And I'll be giving you tons of examples. Don't worry if things are not making sense at the moment. And yeah, learning can never be linear. If you think that whatever I'm teaching 100% you should be able to understand, the answer is no. Some of you will understand 50%, some of you will understand 70%, some of you will understand 90%. But once we'll keep on moving on, later on you'll understand, okay, that is why Piyush taught me this concept previously, which I was not able to understand. So learning can never be linear curve, guys. Okay. But yeah, if you have any questions, any doubts, feel free to ask me. Okay. So this is
Piyush,
Yes,
Just
yeah,
in case if it's a property doesn't ends with a bracket, right? So if it's a
exactly.
method, it ends with a bracket.
Exactly. That is the difference. Otherwise, how will JavaScript know it is a method or a property? Here I'm clearly telling JavaScript, hey, this is not a method. Why? I'm not using parentheses. So make sure treat it like a property. But here you make sure that you treat it like a method because I am using these parentheses.
Got it.
Yeah. Great question, Vinith. Okay. Next thing, I'll give you some very, very simple examples. So let me create a variable called MSG. Okay, so let me say like this message, you are so grounded. And I'm hoping that since I'm teaching like from scratch, anybody who has never done JavaScript before, I think they also should be able to understand these concepts. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm creating a variable called message and I'm assigning this value or a string to this message. So what is happening in the memory? What is happening from memory point of view? Inside the memory, suppose, yeah, this is heap. Okay, let me just go a little down. Okay, so if this is the memory, what is happening? I'm doing what? I'm creating a box in the memory in simple words. What is the name of this box? MSG. What is the value of this box? This is the box value. Okay, so now, okay, let me write like this. So the value, okay, so the name of this box is message. The value is you are so grounded. Yeah, it's a slightly bigger value. I'm not writing it here for now. Okay, now what I'm trying to do is if I do this MSG dot to uppercase, what is happening? Anyone can tell me?
It's
Turn into caps.
it came
Convert
into
lowercase
caps.
to uppercase.
Yes.
Okay, but I just told you something. Strings are immutable, guys. Means, can I change it? The answer is no.
But
If
it's
the,
using the operator, right? To uppercase.
okay, let me, okay, I'll think I'll have to write this value now. So the value of this box is, let me write like this. You are so grounded. Let me, okay. So the value of this box is you are so grounded. The problem is the strings are immutable. So if I'm trying to do this, from immutability point of view, what is happening? I'm creating a brand new string in the memory, guys. If I'm doing msg.to uppercase, I'm doing what? Creating a new string in the memory. Why? Can I change the existing string? No, because strings are immutable. So what is happening? From the memory point of view, a new string is created in the memory. But the problem is, okay, what is a new string? You are so grounded. So this new string is getting created in the memory. But the problem is, am I assigning a variable to it? Am I doing msg equal to msg.to uppercase? No. I'm simply doing msg.to uppercase. I'm simply creating a new string, but I'm not giving it a variable name. Like this is a string. I'm creating a variable name. How? I hope you remember I've told you whatever is on the right hand side, it gets assigned to something on the left hand side. So it means in the memory, this variable will have this value. Now, here in this case, this is right hand side, but where is the left hand side? There's nothing on the left hand side. So what is happening here? I've created a string in the memory, but there's no variable. It is kind of an unnamed string. Okay, so this string is unnamed. Some of you might have heard about garbage collection in Java. Some of you have never heard about it. There's a term which we call it garbage collection. What happens? I'm creating a string in the memory, but not giving it any value. It means JavaScript thinks that this string is not useful actually. Why? The programmer has not given it a name. If I would have given a name like let msg1 equal to, then JavaScript might have, not might have, should have actually given this variable name, which is msg1 to this string. But I'm not doing it like this. I'm simply creating a string in the memory. So JavaScript will run this particular process called garbage collection. Now, what is garbage collection? In the case of garbage collection, JavaScript periodically runs some kind of checks. So it keeps on monitoring your memory. So after some time, when it is monitoring your memory, it sees that, okay, I see this string, but there's no name that is pointing to the string. So what am I going to do? I'm simply going to remove this string or delete this string from the memory. Okay, so this is the meaning of garbage collection. This newly created string using this to uppercase function is going to be deleted from the memory. And that is what is called as garbage collection. means removing something from the memory. Why? It is not needed. Why it is not needed? I'm not giving anything on the left-hand side like this. In this case of string, I have something on the left, but here I'm creating a new string. Am I doing anything on the left? Nothing. So that is what is called as garbage collection. So what is the concept, what we are learning? Every time whenever I'm using any of the string function, whether it is two uppercase, two lowercase, or any of the string function that I'll teach you in future, right? It is going to create a new string because strings are immutable. Second concept, if I want to use this string, I want to retain this string so that garbage collection should not delete this string. I want to assign it to a variable. One option is I can do msg equal to msg.to uppercase. In this case, if I do like this, what happens? This msg is no longer, previously this msg was pointing to this string, right? But if I do msg equal to msg.to uppercase, it means JavaScript will remove this pointer. And now this msg is going to point to this string now. And it is no longer going to be garbage collected. Okay, so this won't be garbage collected. Why? Because I'm doing msg equal to msg.to uppercase. I'm giving a name. It is no longer an unnamed string. It is a named string. But what happens to this string now? This string will become unnamed because this msg is no longer pointing to this. This msg is pointing to the newly created string. So now this string would be garbage collected. Means deleted from the memory. Why? For saving memory efficiency. That is the whole point. I hope you guys are able to follow. If not, please ask me questions or else I can move on. No
Please,
question?
I have one.
Yes, Abhita.
Go back to screen. So that means without declaring the any variable, suppose for example, let the msd equal to you are so grounded. Then
Okay.
we have to use the msd uppercase. It's not. It's still it's showing the output as you are so grounded. It doesn't change it to uppercase, right?
Okay, if I do like this, at this point, if I do this, the value of MSG is still, you are so grounded in lowercase. See this.
Okay. Yes.
Now, what else? Yeah, go ahead.
Without declaring the any variable msg dot to uppercase means what is the result?
Okay, if I do this, if I
Yes.
simply, if I use console.log, yes, it is going to print the newly created string, but it is useless actually. Why? You are creating a new string, but you're not storing it somewhere. So it is going to be deleted from the memory, but the output will be, you will see lowercase and uppercase. See, you are creating a newly created string like this, but if you're not storing it back into a variable, it means it isn't, this string is unnamed string. You're not storing it in a variable. You want to do msg equal to msg.to uppercase. Then this particular string would be stored in the memory or retained in the memory, in simple words. And don't, and suppose if this concept is not clear as of now, don't worry, we'll keep on learning this concept. So some things you will understand after some time. Okay. Yeah, this is slightly advanced topic, but I think you should be able to understand this from memory point of view. Okay. So yes, Shraddha, go ahead.
So this you are saying that this message dot uppercase, when it will be go to the garbage collection, then we cannot reuse it basically, right?
Exactly. Basically, garbage collection is like, okay, I'll give an example. Garbage collection is as good as laying off an employee. If an employee is laid off, can we ask them to do any work? He's not going to do any work, right? Simple. He's terminated. He's out of the company. Same thing. Garbage collection means this particular variable is no longer in the memory. It is deleted. Memory is cleared.
So if I try to print the message as a variable, then it should give me the error at the time. Actually, I should try.
Yeah, you should try it. You should try it. That's something you actually said something right. So you should try it. But I hope you guys are able to follow. Okay. So next thing. Now, there's a
One
very
question, Piyush. Sorry.
yes. Yeah, Harsha. Go ahead.
When we create this uppercase, will it be in the stack memory or heap memory?
Okay. So strings are basically gonna create it in the stack memory in JavaScript.
Okay. When it is
But
in uppercase, it will be still in the stack memory.
oh yes, absolutely. Same in the stack memory.
Okay.
Heaps, like in Java, JavaScript, heaps will come into picture only when I'm using the new keyword.
New keyword. Yeah, okay. Got you.
Whenever we talk about the new keyword, blindly just assume that this is going to create in the new, heap memory. Simple.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So next thing, we have a method, very important method again, which is the trim method. It simply removes the spaces before and after. Let me give you a simple example. So if I create something like this, let greeting equal to, I write like this. Hello, leave me alone. I don't know. Sorry for these words. Whatever is coming to my mind, I'm just writing it. Okay. So what am I doing? I'm creating a variable called greeting and I'm giving it a string like this. Notice that it has some spaces here. It has a space here, one space, another space, and I think 2 or 3 spaces here. So what happens is if I'm interested in removing the starting spaces and the ending spaces, we have a method called greeting.trim. Okay, now notice that if I just type like this, if I'll simply use the dot, JavaScript is going to do what? It is going to give me the suggestion box. In the suggestion box, I can type like this, trim. Now, how do I know it is a method or it is a property? Firstly, if you see the color is purple. All the purple colors are the methods. Okay, and also notice that if I just bring the mouse or if I use the up and down arrow keys, even JavaScript is showing me that this is a method. For methods, I have to use what? And yeah, JavaScript does not add these parentheses automatically. I have to add them. Okay. And if you're still not sure, JavaScript is even giving you this helpful suggestion. Removes the leading and trailing white space and the line terminator characters from the string. So if I simply use console.log greeting.trim, what is the output of this code? The output of this code will be hello, leave me alone, but this space and this space would be removed. But the middle spaces are not removed. This is important, guys. Middle spaces are not removed. Only the starting and the ending spaces are removed. Okay, so if you see over here, see, there's no space before, there's no space after. But the middle spaces are retained. Very important method. We use this a lot in this. Yes, Abhijit.
Yeah, I just want to know one thing, like, can we use the split method also here, using the
We can use a split method, but if you want to remove the spaces, one option is you can use the split method. You can create an array, and from array, you again use the join method. Yes, you can do. But I think it is not really required because we have a more straightforward option called trim. Yes, you can use a split method also to answer your question. But if given a choice, I would rather use trim here, not split. Is it making sense? Okay. So in this case, again, what is happening? A second string is going to be created in the memory, but shortly, only temporarily. Why? I'm not assigning it back to a variable. So this string, newly created string would be garbage collected. So guys, I'm just, for my learning and understanding purpose, I'm using these console.logs. But in real time, in projects, if I'm working on, this is what I'll do. Greeting equal to greeting.trim, something like this. So that I basically to this newly created string, I'm basically giving a variable so that this string should stay in the memory. Otherwise, what is the point of using the trim if I'm not storing it back to a variable, right? So this is important. Okay. And then we have something called as method chaining. Very important concept again. What does it mean? It means we can chain multiple JavaScript methods together. What do I mean? I can do like this. Suppose if I have a variable called color and I'm giving it some, okay, I'm using some spaces here. So let me call it purple with a space before, spaces after. And now if I do color dot trim dot to uppercase, yes, this is allowed. So what is going to happen? Firstly, the trim method is going to be applied. So what should happen? This space will be removed, this space removed. So I am left with only purple. And then what am I saying? I am simply saying to uppercase. It means convert this purple to uppercase string. So how do I know if it is working fine? Simply use console.log. Console.log will do what? This is the console output, right? So it is going to print the output here so that you see if whatever you are doing, is it working fine or not? Let me run it and I should see the output as purple. So see the initial spaces and ending spaces are gone. And this is called method chaining. One method followed by another method. This is called method chaining. Yes, Haima.
Mhm.
You have yeah, you
Yeah,
have a
I was
question.
just telling greeting equal to greeting.trim. That
Mhm.
mutability concept will not be applied here. Huh?
No, mutability concept will be applied. A new string will be created, like this, which is in upper, sorry, these spaces are going to be removed, right? So when when I say spaces are going to be removed, it means a new string will be created, which does not have these spaces. That is the exact term I should use. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, string mutability concept is still there. You cannot modify the string. This string will still there in the memory.
Okay. Got it.
Yes. Abhishek Sarkar. Yeah, you have a question.
Yes, Piyush, I want to ask that by this method, dot trim, why it did not remove the space between hello and leave and me, or me and hello?
Because this trim method works in such a way that, see, it simply says that it removes the leading and trailing white spaces. See, it is not mentioning that in between spaces. So this is like a rule again. I simply follow these rules. I don't question them. So it means JavaScript trim method is saying I'm removing the starting and the ending white spaces only. I'm not removing the middle spaces. Did you see this?
Yes, Piyush. Yes.
Yeah. So we don't want to remove the middle spaces because sometimes, okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say if I'm fetching some data from a table, usually what happens is
Piyush,
we have some spaces. Yeah, Someshri?
yeah, one quick question. How are you getting that instruction, like the information related to the method? Like
Instruction.
you got the information about this trim
Okay,
function.
okay.
She talking intelligence that.
Okay, just bring the mouse and you will be able to see this.
Over, okay.
Yeah, just hover over the mouse. This is
Okay.
not intelligence. This is just intelligence is something like this. If I use the dot, then it shows the intelligence. But this is like, you can say the suggestion box only for this method. I hope that answers the
Okay.
question.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. So looks like Mayur has a question. No?
Piyush, in the JavaScript, in the same sentence, we
Hmm.
have to use multiple functions like trim, uppercase, like that.
Oh, yes, you can. Suppose, let's say you're going for an interview. Your interviewer might tell you something. You're not supposed to use for loops. You are only supposed to use inbuilt functions. In that case, I will show you some real examples. Not now, but once we are actually there in the case of arrays and loops and all those things, I'll give you some examples wherein there are some puzzles you can solve without using loops directly by using these inbuilt functions. At the moment, you may not be able to connect how this trim method will really help, how this two uppercase is really going to help me. At the moment, see, I'm just teaching you the building blocks. At this moment, don't try to think about how these building blocks, where they will fit. At the moment, just try to understand and focus on whether how these building blocks are actually working. Just understand this part. Later on, we'll slowly we'll move on to how do we basically join these blocks together. Okay, just like how in English language, if I'm learning English, firstly I learn what is A, what is B and C. Later on, we'll see how do we join these words to form alphabets and words. Same thing in JavaScript. We are going very step by step, very structured way. Okay. Next, I hope there are no questions. Hopefully my speed is quite low today. Hopefully you should not say that I'm fast. So, okay.
You wish I just have one small doubt. In case you mentioned about garbage collections here in terms of
Huh?
grade,
Huh?
which you mentioned you will create a new variable for it, right? Just like
Hmm.
greeting equal to greeting.trim. But in
Hmm.
case of test case writing and all, we usually call the method, right? Call the
Correct.
but in that case, we don't create the variable exclusively, right?
Yeah, because if it is a one-time use string, you don't want to store it in a variable. You understand what I'm saying? Suppose
Yeah.
there are few things you want to use only one time. You don't want to use it later on. If you want to use
Okay.
it later on, you may want to store it in a variable.
Okay. Got it.
Then in that case, once you are done with, suppose you want to just calculate the sum of a number and then you are done. Now, does it matter to you whether it is garbage collected or not? No, right?
No.
In that case, let it garbage collected. You are done with your operation. You don't want to use it later on. So let's not store it into a variable. Let it garbage collect. I hope
Okay.
it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, very good question, Vineet, again. So index of, another very important method. It simply tells me the index of a variable inside a string. Basically, in simple words, a substring, we can say, not variable, basically. Okay, let me give you an example. So it will be very helpful. So let me create a variable called TV show. So again, what am I doing? I'm creating a variable on the left side, and this is the assignment operator. So whatever is on the right side, it will be assigned to the left side. So what am I saying? I'm simply creating a string called cat dog. Now, I am interested in finding out where in this string the character T occurs. So you remember I just showed you strings are indexed. It means C0, 1, and 2. So index of T in this string is what? 2. Now, visually I can see. I'm a human, right? I have eyes, I can see. But again, JavaScript does not have eyes. It will have to rely on some of its internal methods. So from JavaScript, how do I find out what is the index of this T character inside this string? That is when we have something called as index of method. So index of, how do I know it is a method or a property? It is a method. Okay. And this is IntelliSense. So I'll simply hit enter and I'll have to manually type these parentheses. Okay. So I have to tell what string I want to search inside TV show. What is a substring I want to find out. So here I'll write what? T. It means I'm saying inside this string, I want to find out where this string is present. If it is present or not. Suppose if it is present, it should return me some index. In this case, the output should be 0, 1, and 2. Let me print it out. Let's see. So let me clear the console, click on the play button, and I get the output as 2, which is correct. Now, what if I try to search for a character which is not present? Suppose if I try to search for a character called Z. Is Z present in this? The output is, so the answer is no. In this case, JavaScript will return me something called as -1. So this -1 is JavaScript's way of telling me that this character or this string is not present here. Let me run it again. This time I should see the output as 2 and -1. Let me clear it and click on the play button. Okay. And I get this out. Okay. See, it's a very silly error. Why? I'm selecting only these 2 lines. So JavaScript does not know about this variable. So I forgot to select this line. So that is why it is saying, hey, what are you trying to do? TV show is not defined. So it's a very silly error of me. What do I do? I'll simply select these 3 lines actually, right? Because I don't want to run the previous lines of code. Why? I'm just learning and understanding for now. What do? I can clear this error, click on the play button, and I see the output as 2 and -1. Okay. So T is present, so the output is 2. Z is not present, the output is -1. It is very simple. And later on, I'll show you when do we actually use this index of method in real time. At the moment, this is just building block. Just focus on the building block for now. Make notes and practice it. That is something you have to do. Now, this thing, if I do console.log, now if I have another string, say baseball, and then I'm doing index of, can I do this? The answer is yes. Previously, I've shown you we can use only a single character. I can even use a string also like this. But even if I'm passing a string like this, only the first character is actually going to be counted. So if I try to look for index of ball in this, is ball present inside this? The answer is yes. Where it is present? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the output of this code is what? 4. Let me run it. So clear, play. And the output is 4. Okay. So this is the output. But if I search for B this time, anyone can tell me what is the output now? Quickly, unmute guys. Tell me fast.
0. 0.
Correct. Why? In this case, this B is not counted because it looks for the first occurrence actually. So as you rightly mentioned, the output is 0. Perfect, guys. So if I run it, the answer is 0. Makes sense? Okay. But if I try to search for something, maybe, okay, anything. So if I do this, the output should be, anyone can tell me what is the output here? Quickly.
-1.
Exactly, -1, because this string Kajal is not present here. So the output is -1. So you guys are getting it. Way to go, guys. Okay. So I hope you are able to understand index of.
Piyush, I have one question.
Mhm.
Here, baseball is treated as a not individual characters, right? It's treated as only for the one sentence.
Yeah, it is a string. Okay, one option is I can create a string, store it in a variable and use this variable. Or this is if I'm just learning and for my learning purpose. I don't want to create a separate variable and then use that variable. I can directly use the string here also. We can do
No, no.
this.
I have one. Not that one question. It's here. See, baseball is treated as a one word.
Word
It's like
or
a
string.
yeah,
Correct.
it's string,
Correct.
right? So, but here, suppose I have to take the baseball dot index of ball. So,
Okay.
but the ball is not part of the main string, right? It's treated as a only for the one string, right? How we
No.
have to calculate it?
Okay, in this case, I'm simply searching, is ball, okay, how do I read this? In simple terms, I'm reading it like this. Is ball present inside the string or not? Simple question. The answer is yes. We do
Yes.
have a ball. Correct. So
Hi,
now
Piyush.
yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Now
Please
JavaScript
go.
will, yeah. So now JavaScript will simply tell me where this particular string is present. And this string is present at the 4th index, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Naina. Sorry if I'm
Yes,
not
yeah,
pronouncing
no
it.
problem. So actually, in the first environment, that is line number 162, we spoke
162.
about, yeah, so TV show, like we are
Correct.
not using double quotes here. And in
Yeah.
line 166, we are using double quotes. So what is the difference between using double quotes here and not using
Okay. So
any quotes
okay.
there?
Yeah. So basically the concept is we can use either single quote or double quote or backtick to create a string. We can use any of them. And why I'm using sometimes double quote, sometimes single quote, because I want to teach you guys that I can use either single quote or double quote. Now, this is also fine.
Okay,
This is also fine. Same
okay.
output.
Okay, I got your point. I did not understand the base. Once you said the base B, when you said the occurrence of B or the index of B, it was
Oh,
coming as 0. Why was it coming as 0? Could you please
okay.
explain me that?
Yeah, definitely. Sure. So, okay. So, Naina, the reason why this is coming because JavaScript will start searching from the left side. If it starts searching from the left side, so it simply checks like this.
Ah,
Is it
yeah,
B?
got it. I got it.
Yeah, that's the output. And now if I do this ball, same thing, same condition applies here. Now JavaScript will start searching left. Is it, sorry, is it B? No.
But
Is it
if I
ball?
want
No.
to find the second B,
Hmm.
so would I use the indexing here like 2
No. In
or
that
1?
case, you cannot use index of. You will have to use some algorithms. Some of you might have heard about
Okay,
linear search, binary search. There are some specialized
I got
algorithms for
it.
this, which can be very complex. I don't want to teach you this particular thing at this moment. But yeah, so I'm really happy that you guys asking very important, thoughtful questions actually. Any further questions, guys? Or time for another break actually?
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries. So guys, time for another break now. So I'll give you exactly 5 minutes of break. I'm starting my timer because I'll forget otherwise. So you guys are free to ask me questions. So I'll pause the recording. I'm sharing the screen. Sure. Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
But I can go in at the end of the session. I can ask my questions.
No, it's not like that. You can ask now.
Okay, okay. So last time when I was running this orange HRM test, I wrote that test inside the test folder here in the dot example dot spec dot js
Okay.
field. But when I was running, I just gave the command npx playwright and the folder name test, and at that time it was giving me error. And then I tried giving like after test this file name example specs.js, and that time it worked. So
Okay.
it did not work for me, but I saw in your recording it was working for you without mentioning the file name.
Okay.
So the
Okay, I'll
difference.
tell you. So what is happening? In this example, see, there can be, as of now, it is a very small folder. I've just started it. So basically, it has only one spec file, correct?
Yes.
I may have maybe hundreds of spec files. Then if I run this command, it'll be nightmare for me. Why it is going to run all the test cases. So npx playwright test is going to look into the test folder. And suppose if it finds 100 test files, it is going to run all the 100 files, which is not what I want. Make sense? Now, what I want to do is I want to run a specific file. As of now, I'm having only one. So yeah, npx playwright test, or if I pass a specific name, is one and the same thing. So if I do example.spec.js. Now, what am I telling playwright? Now, run only the test inside this file and ignore everything else. That is what I'm saying. Did you get it?
Okay. So, what you mean to say, if we have multi-file inside the folders, inside one folder, then mentioning the file name is must. Otherwise, if we have only one file inside the folder, then it will by default will take that file.
Exactly. Correct. As of now, I'm having only one file, so it doesn't matter if I use example.spec.js or if I use only npx playwright test. It only is going to execute this. But yeah, as of now, how many test cases I have here? One, one, and then two, and then three. But if there are three test cases, and if I'm interested in running only a specific test case, that is when I use this dot only helper attribute. Is it fine?
Yes.
Now
Yes.
only one test case will be executed. And when you send me a screenshot, I think you are the one, right, who sent me a screenshot, right?
Yeah.
Sonam, correct. So you were using a small, you can say, I hope you remember the mistake that you were doing. You were using curly
I
braces.
corrected that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
corrected that and it worked for me. So when we do autosave by default, where it will go and save the
No,
test?
it is going to basically save the same file. Or best option is just use this file and autosave. Whatever is a file, it will autosave. You don't have to manually save. That is the meaning of autosave. Simple.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I hope it is
And
clear.
yeah. And you have created few more the new folder that on the top JS and inside that multiple two of the files .js. So why
Correct.
didn't you create like .js file inside this test folder only? Why have you created a separate folder?
Okay. Okay. Basically, because this is not a playwright test case. This is a normal JavaScript file. Just to segregate simple terms. I could have created inside test also, not an issue. But in the test folder, only the playwright test should be there, nothing else. Example, in the kitchen, you will only store your utensils, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your main room, you will store your clothes. You will not store your clothes in the kitchen. Same way, you will not store your utensils into your room, right? Same way. It is all about organizing your code better, right? So I'm creating a folder called JavaScript. It means all my JavaScript files will come here. All the playwright tests will come inside the test folder so that it is easier to manage. There's no hard and fast rule. This is something you will learn. So these are some good practices that I'll keep on teaching you in throughout this course. How to basically use the right, or we can say the best coding practices. Very important to learn. Is it fine now?
Okay. So ideally, if we are automating any test case, we should create a separate folder. We should not write our test inside the test folder, right?
It
Inside.
depends actually. It totally depends upon your requirement. So there's no right or wrong answer. Sometimes we have to see as per our requirement. So this is something I'll teach you throughout the course. You may not be able to understand now, so I would suggest just hold on for this particular question. But in the due course of time, you will be able to get it for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So Vineet, you have a question?
No, that was the earliest one. Sorry.
Okay. Your hand was raised, so I thought, okay. So I'll start again.
Piyush, while running all the test cases under the folder, so which command we need to write npx playwright?
Yeah, I hope you're able to see my screen, right? So this is the
Yes, yes.
command. npx playwright test. So basically, if I run only this command, it is going to run all my playwright test cases. But if I want to selectively run a particular file, then I have to give this name, example.spec.js. I can even remove it. I can just give the name of the file, example. So it means
So
I'm
where
telling
we,
playwright. Yeah.
so where
Go
we
ahead.
have given a folder name here like npx. The test is a by default that tests is the folder name, right?
No, this is
Tests.
not the folder name. This is the command actually.
Yes,
This
yes.
test,
That's what
okay.
I'm
I
asking.
think you guys are getting confused. This test is different from this test. This is the name of the folder. This is a command in Playwright. We have to use it. npx playwright test. I can even call it Piyush. I can even call it Pradeep, but still I have to use
Yes.
npx playwright test.
Yeah, suppose I want to run all the test cases which under the tests folder. So which command we have to put here? npx playwright text, then
Yeah, npx playwright test, and then you can write like, suppose there's another folder called abc. You can write like this, abc.star, something like this. You getting me?
okay.
This is what you can do.
Yeah.
It is very simple. And if you still have some doubts, feel free to ping me and I'll help you.
Yeah,
Okay.
because of I directly attended this and yeah,
No,
that's why.
that is totally fine. So I understand some people have not missed the previous recording. Some people are joining in for the first time. And so I totally understand. Absolutely fine, guys. Not an issue at all. Okay. So let us start with the next topic now, which is the slice method. Okay. So in strings, we have some couple of methods. We just talked about the which method? We just talked about the index of method. And then we also talked about the which method? Trim method. There are some more important methods. One is the slice method, very important method. Okay, oops, which is the slice method. Yeah, this one, slice. What does it do? It simply, okay, I'll give you a simple example. If I talk about a cake, what do we do with the cake? We slice it, right? We slice it pieces by pieces. Same thing. If I want to cut a string, suppose if there's a string called baseball, say, what am I doing? I'm creating a variable called sport and I'm giving it a value of baseball. Left hand side, right hand side. Right hand side value will be assigned to left hand side. Next thing. Now, if I want to cut this string, can I cut a string? No, because strings are immutable. But I can create a new string in the memory, right? So can I do this? Sport.slice of 4. What is happening now? I'm simply saying from this index, create a copy of a string. So what is the fourth index? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it means create a copy of a string starting from the fourth. What is the output? Only ball. So if I run it, console.log, what is happening now? I'm simply creating a new string, which is ball, because I'm slicing from the fourth index. So this index is included 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the output is ball. That's it. That is what it means. It simply means slice method. What it does, it simply creates a copy of a string. That's it. From whatever index that I'm passing here. Okay. So it simply does it. It is very, very simple. Yeah, I can even pass two parameters, right? So I can even pass like this 4, 6. What does it mean? I'm now saying that from the fourth index, start start basically copying, but stop at the sixth index. But this index is inclusive. This is exclusive. Exclusive means don't count this. So it means I'm saying that take only fourth and fifth index only. Fourth and fifth index is what? B and A. So the output is B and A, not L, because this index is not counted. This is counted, but this is not. Why, if you may ask? Because this is another rule that is given by JavaScript. Slice. See, this is the thing. String.slice. Starting is a number, end is also a number, and it returns a section of a string. Okay, so if I run it, the output will be B and A because this is included, this is excluded. Another very important method, the replace method. This is something you can easily understand from the name itself. So what does it do? It replaces the first occurrence. Yes, please.
One quick question. If for the end index, if we provide some number which is not present, let's suppose 10. So what will give?
Okay.
What will
Yeah,
the
that's
output?
an interesting thing. Okay, so I'll clear it and I'll run it like this. See, in this case, do we have a 10th index? So no, right? So what it is going to happen? It is going to take from fourth till whatever it is possible from ball. That's it. So
Okay.
this is 4, 5, 6, and 7. We don't have 8 and 9. So it is simply going to stop here. And it is going to return me only ball. I hope it makes sense.
Okay. It will
Oh,
ignore the 9.
yeah, it is going to ignore it. Perfect. That's the right way of saying it. Okay.
One question here.
Yes, okay.
After slicing, if you want to see check the length of that sliced string, what it would be?
We
It
can do
is
like
just
this. We can even do this.
is
Dot
it just
length.
four or as we
That
given 10, it will give 6?
okay. See, the output is 4 because now what is remaining? Only ball is remaining. What is the length? 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. So let me give an very
Yeah, one quick question.
yes, Shubham.
What if we give the negative indexing then here?
Shubham, sorry, your voice is not clear. I mean, I'm able to hear, but clarity is not there.
Yeah, what if we have given the negative indexing for that? Suppose code dot slice is -6 or -7 or something.
I'm sorry, Shubham. I'm not able to understand. I would suggest please type your question. Your voice clarity is not there. I don't know if you have a
He's
network issue or what.
asking if we give the negative index, like
Okay, negative
-4.
index. You mean
Yeah.
here? Like this?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, see, what do we do? Starting has to be a number and the index to the beginning of the specified portion. Okay, so this is not allowed actually. So if, okay, let me show you. Okay, let me remove the length now. So if I try to do this, do we have a -4 index? No, the index starts from 0 actually. There's no negative index here. So if I try to do this, the output is still ball actually. Why? Because this minus is not allowed. So JavaScript is simply going to ignore it. So and simply what it starts searching from the 4th index only, which is ball, BALL. And yeah, this 10, again, it is not included. So it is going to start from 4 and it is going to stop at 4, 5, 6, and 7. So actually it is what? If I write like this, -4 or 4, 8, one and the same thing. But yeah, you will never use minus in the case of slice. You will only use positive indexes. Okay, right? So next thing, what I want to do is I want to reuse the replace. It is also very important method. What do I do? Suppose if I have a string like this, say baseball is entertaining. Suppose if this is my string. Now my requirement is I want to replace this entertaining word with some other word. For example, I want to, let's say, replace it with word called okay. What do I do? I'll use replace and I'll use entertaining and then I'll do okay. What am I saying? Replace entertaining with okay. That is how it is read. So this is how I like to remember it. Replace is a method. What is the syntax? Replace what? Replace with. This is my way of remembering it. And what is the thing that I want to replace? Which is this. What is the thing I want to replace it with? I want to replace entertaining with okay. So the output of this code will be baseball is okay. How do I print in the output? Simply use console.log baseball like this. And the output should be baseball is okay. So now it is saying A is not defined. Okay, which is fine. So I'll run it like this. Baseball is okay. I hope it makes sense. So it's a very, very simple method. Now, there's another method called replace all also, which also supports regular expressions. As of now, we are not talking about regular expressions, right? So yes, this can be very complex topic. So for now, just understand that it also supports regular expressions or it means patterns of characters. Okay. Another example that I would like to show. So guys, please do practice it. If you want, I will even share this file with all of you so that you have this file. You can try with multiple permutations and combinations, try to use different index here and there. That is how you learn. Okay, so now I have another string, let's say a silly one, say like this. I have a string like this. And what if I try to do this? Replace of this HA with, what do you think now should happen? Only this should be replaced or all should be replaced?
All should be replaced.
The
Only
first
the
one
first
should
First
be
one will be
occurrence will be
replaced.
replaced.
Only the first one, because this is a replace method. So what does it do? Now see, replaces text in a string. And it also does what? It only replaces the first occurrence because in JavaScript, we have another method called replace all for basically doing for all the occurrences. But for the first occurrence, it uses this. So let me show you what is the output. I deliberately picked this string because I knew this is something you should know. See, only the first occurrence has been replaced. I hope it makes sense. This is what I want to replace. This is what I want to replace it with. Very simple methods actually. In fact, JavaScript is very simple. That is what I was trying to teach you last time also. This is the thought process that you all should have. If not, start saying it again and again. JavaScript is easy. JavaScript is easy. I keep on telling myself because I want to trick my brain into believing that JavaScript is easy. Because the more I say something which I don't want, the more I start believing it. This is something which is very, very powerful technique, guys. Okay. So JavaScript is easy. Next thing, we have a very important method called includes method. Okay, so what does includes method do? Just like index of, it is even simpler actually. Includes simply check if a string is a part of main string or not. Okay, so Includes method is used to check if a string contains another string. Okay, let me give you a very simple example. I have let me create a variable called text. Inside this variable, I'm creating a string, say JavaScript is fun. Okay, now this is a very simple string and I'm assigning it to this variable called text. Now, what am I trying to do? I want to find out if this string contains script or not. So how do I write? Console.log text dot includes. If you read this line, it simply tells you that it is basically going to give you either a yes answer or a no answer. In JavaScript, yes is true, no is false. So what am I saying? Tell me, JavaScript, do you have this word script inside this string or not? Okay, the answer is, what do you think, guys? True, false?
False.
True.
False.
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 Okay, majority of you are actually saying false. One of
False.
you said
Yeah,
true.
False.
Okay,
it will
so
be false because it is case sensitive.
exactly. JavaScript is case sensitive, guys. Very important to understand. JavaScript is case sensitive. So capital S is different than small s. Very important to know. Okay, so in this case, the output will be false. So if I run this piece of code, see the output, which is false. Okay, but if I do this, console.log, if I write small s now, this should give me true because JavaScript is again case sensitive. Make sense? And yeah, this includes method simply tells me if this word or substring is present inside my main string or not. Very frequently used method. So I'm teaching you, see, it is not humanly possible to teach you all the string methods, because if I do this, you see, there are so many methods. Am I going to teach you all? The answer is no, because we'll in the entire 2 months or 3 months, we are going to learn these methods only. I'll be teaching you only those methods that are the most important ones. Rest of the methods you can learn with experience actually. Even I don't know all these methods, right? Because this is something I can figure out later on. But includes very important method. This slice, another very important method. Index of, very important method. This trim, very important method. Okay, so this is something we should know. And it is case sensitive, guys. Okay, so what does include do? It simply checks if one string is inside another or not. It simply returns true or false, and it is case sensitive. Okay, so this is about includes. Okay, and then we have another very important method which is called a split. Without this split, there's no way you can solve major coding interviews or not. Very important. Out of all these methods, this is probably the most frequently used method actually, the split method. Okay, so let me give an example to make you understand. Let text equal to hello world. Why I'm getting an error? Because I have already created this variable at the top. In JavaScript, I cannot redeclare a variable using the let keyword. But if I use var here, it is going to allow me. That is one reason why we should not use var. But yeah, don't worry. So I'll teach you later on. I'm just adding one to remove this error. So what am I doing? I'm creating a variable text and assigning a string to it. Now, what am I doing? I'm creating a string, another variable called words, and then I'm doing text dot split of this. What is happening? I'm simply telling JavaScript that if we have a space inside this string, split this string using this space. So what happens? What is on the left of this space? Hello. What is on the right of this? It is world. So basically this split is going to create an array. Yeah, if you don't, I have not told you about arrays. So if you don't know much, don't worry. I'll teach you in arrays also, but it is going to create an array. So if I simply use console.log of words, it is going to be an array of 2 words. Why? I'm splitting this string using the space. It means one word, second word. So if I simply run it, so let me clear it, click on the play button over here, and I get this output text. Okay, because I'm
text one.
X1, exactly. See, we do such silly mistakes all the time. So it is very normal, guys. So I get this output, hello and world. So what does it do? It simply breaks a string, not break a string, basically create an array from a string. Okay, using this delimiter. What is a delimiter or the separator? Space is a separator. What is on the left of this space? Hello. What is on the right of this? World. So in array, hello will be created, world would be created, and this space is gone because this is considered as a separator. Okay, another example, right? So if I use fruits and if I write like this, apple, banana, and grapes, right? So this is my string with a comma. Now, if I want to basically use comma as a separator and use split based upon the comma, what is the output now? Let me simply use like this, console.log fruits.split of comma. So the output will be an array which has 3 values, apple, banana, and grapes, because what is on the left? Apple. What is on the right? Banana. What is on the left? This banana. What is on the right? Grapes. So if I print it out, you see this output. Apple, banana, and grapes. That is what the split method does. Don't worry, you will not be able to connect in real time. Where do I use it? Again, you don't want to focus on it. You want to learn the building block first. Okay, later on we'll understand where do we really use it. Okay, so any questions, guys?
Piyush, earlier when you tried with this hello world, it didn't form the array, right?
No,
What
it
we
created
have
an
to
array. Okay,
oh,
looks like there's a small confusion. Okay, I'll show you again. See, this is an array.
oh,
How do I know it is an array? This is a square bracket. Square bracket means it is an array.
okay, got it.
Yeah, don't worry if you don't understand what an array is, because it is a dedicated topic. I'll teach you from scratch where do we really use arrays. Okay, so this is about the split method. Okay, so what does split do? Simple, a quick summary. Split breaks a string into an array of substrings. So if I want to break this string into multiple substrings, I can use comma as my separator. So apple will be 1, banana is 2nd, grapes would be 3rd. Okay, so where do we use split? If I want to break a string into multiple pieces, if I want to fetch multiple fruits, apple is 1, banana is 2nd, grapes is 3rd. So if I have comma here, so I can use comma as my separator or the delimiter. Okay, so now this is about this split method. Okay, so any questions here? No questions? Okay, so before I continue, actually wanted to ask you guys, is it should I continue the class, guys, another 10 minutes or so, or you guys are okay for today? That is totally your call, actually, because ultimately this class is for you. If you think we are done and we are not able to concentrate beyond 2 hours, we can stop it right now. Totally your call.
Maybe if we could start on time tomorrow, and
We're going to start at same time. See, guys, I'm very punctual. That is a small problem with me. I like to follow the US punctuality, not Indian punctuality. If I'll start with Indian punctuality, we'll start the class at 8 o'clock, not 7:30.
okay, please.